Imagine if the first 10 minutes of your morning could decide whether today becomes unstoppable or just another day you drag yourself through. Most people don't realize this, but Tony Robbins swears that the way you prime yourself right after waking up can literally rewire how you think, how you feel, and how you perform. And here's the wild part. It's not some complicated routine. It's a series of simple shifts that turn ordinary mornings into launch pads for extraordinary days. You've probably tried hitting snooze, scrolling your phone, or drowning in coffee, and deep down you know it's not working. You start the day reactive, not proactive. That's why this video is different. We're breaking down the exact principles, the stories, and the science that Tony Robbins himself uses to own his mornings and dominate his days. So if you've ever wondered how the world's top performers keep their energy, focus, and drive on fire from the moment they wake up, stay with me. Because once you see how this works, you'll never look at your mornings the same way again. Chapter 1. Priming. Ignite your morning state. Tony Robbins' 10-minute ritual. Close your eyes for a second, not to sleep, but to remember how it felt the last time you woke up and everything fell into place. You know that feeling. The coffee tastes right, the traffic parts like the sea. A conversation lands exactly where you wanted it to. That day didn't happen by accident. It started before the world saw you. It started inside you. This chapter is about one simple, brutal truth. How you begin your morning becomes the movie you live in for the rest of the day. Tony Robbins calls it priming. A compact, no-nonsense ritual he uses to flip his physiology, clear the junk in his thinking, and lock his mind on what matters. It's not mystical. It's mechanical. And in 10 minutes, it rewires your moment-to-moment choices so you stop reacting and start creating. Picture Sarah. She's a project lead who used to hit snooze twice, scroll doom scroll for 20 minutes, and show up to meetings half asleep. Her days bled into one another, rushed, reactive, exhausted. Then she learned to prime. 10 minutes a morning. No overhaul, no miracle. Just a few practice moves. Breath to sharpen her, gratitude to soften her, visualization to point her, and words that rewired her expectations. 3 weeks later, meetings became opportunities. Stress became a signal, not a trap. That's the power of how you begin.
Here's the honest part. Priming doesn't fix your life overnight. What it does is simpler and more valuable. It gives you a reliable starting state. Start here, and the rest of your choices stack in your favor. Stand up. Yes, stand. Change posture, change everything. You'll feel different right away. Drop your shoulders, plant your feet like you mean it. Take 3 deep, deliberate breaths into your belly. Not a dainty sip of air. A full, clearing inhale that pushes the ribs out and lands in the diaphragm. Exhale slow. Feel the spine settle. That change in your body sends a loud, unmistakable signal to your brain. Attention. Now, while your heart is still beating the rhythm of those breaths, think of 3 things you're grateful for. Not big, vague ideas. Pick specifics. The exact face, the morning smell of a neighbor's bread, the sharp little victory you had yesterday. Hold each one for a breath. Let gratitude do 2 jobs at once. It roots you in reality and upgrades the stories your mind wants to tell. After gratitude, invite healing. Picture one small thing you'd like to let go of. An old mistake, a small resentment, the twinge of regret that shows up in meetings. See it in the center of your chest like a tiny stone. Breathe into it. Imagine warmth around it. You don't need to forgive for someone else's sake. Forgive because your day deserves your full energy. Release the stone. Notice how the shoulders drop a millimeter. That's progress. Next, move your mind forward. Visualize one concrete win for the day. Not a fantasy, something measurable. Will you finish the first draft? Make one difficult call. Deliver feedback that lands. See it. You are in the room, your body steady, the words crisp. Replay the scene until your brain accepts it as possible. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish rehearsal from reality. If you practice success, you prime success. Now, use language to cut through doubt. Choose 3 short, fierce phrases, incantations, that feel true and usable. Say them out loud, or whisper them like you mean them. Keep them punchy. I create momentum. I am calm and decisive. My focus is unbreakable. Repeat each line until your voice and posture match the claim. The body follows the words. The words follow the meaning you invest in them. Here's where most people slip. They treat priming like a checklist to check off between emails. It's not a box. It's a signal you send to your whole system. If you rush through the breath, you'll get the volume down on your day. If you half feel your gratitude, the brain files it away as background noise. Do it fully for 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes show up later, in the calm voice when someone pressures you, in the choice to do the hard thing first, in the refusal to be rattled by cheap drama. Priming is deceptively simple because it blends two things humans underestimate: physiology and story. The breath primes the body. Gratitude and visualization prime the story you let yourself believe. Change either side and your decisions shift. That's why Tony Robbins uses this exact sequence every morning. It's engineered to move both the hardware and the software. If you want to make priming yours, start with this habit stack. Stand, breathe, gratitude, heal, visualize, and can't. Keep it 10 minutes. No phones, no news. Record the phrases that land for you and use them again and again. If you miss a day, don't punish yourself. Reboot tomorrow. Over time, those 10 minutes will compound. The day that used to sweep you along will begin to follow you. Before I leave you with the full exercise, a quick truth from 10 years of making videos and watching creators burn out. Consistency beats intensity. A brief, consistent 10 minutes will do more for your momentum than one heroic, all-or-nothing morning. Build the scaffold first. The rest follows. If you're ready, use this chapter as your guided script for the next 7 days. Do it when you wake or when the house is quiet. Commit to the 10 minutes and see what changes. Don't overpromise. Just show up. If this chapter lit even a small spark, do one tiny thing that helps the channel grow. Hit like to tell me you want more practical, voiceover-ready routines. Subscribe for the next chapter where we break down the exact breathing patterns and the incantations that stick. And in the comments, write one small thing you're grateful for today. I'll pin my favorite. Simple actions compound too. Let's build momentum together. Chapter 2: Breathwork and Cold Shock. Reset your nervous system for peak energy. Close your eyes for one beat. Then open them and feel how heavy the morning really is. Now imagine cracking that weight open with two small, savage truths. Your nervous system is negotiable, and you can decide how loud it will be today. This chapter is the story of that crack. It's not about willpower. It's about a deliberate, repeatable jolt, a breath that reorganizes your chemistry, and a shock of cold that pins your attention to the present. Together, they steal back the morning from autopilot and hand it to you. Meet Daniel. He was the kind of guy who lived in the gray zone. Tired, distracted, one cup of coffee too many, accomplishing things but never feeling awake for them. After a month of doing a 10-minute ritual, 3 minutes of concentrated breath work, then a 30 to 60-second cold shower, everything shifted. He stopped needing caffeine to appear alert. He noticed before he reacted. Meetings that used to blur into each other suddenly had edges. That edge wasn't magic. It was physiology, a controlled interruption of autopilot that let choice slip back in. Here's how it works. Simply, breath controls chemistry and cold resets the priorities in your nervous system. Do the two in sequence, and you flip yourself from reactive to present. That's what peak performers use. Not to suffer, but to sharpen. Stand up. Feet shoulder width, spine tall like a mast. No phone, no scrolling. For the next 3 minutes, we'll move from fog to flow. Round 1. The Energizer. About 60 to 90 seconds. Take 30 quick, deep breaths. Inhale fully, belly, ribs, chest. Then exhale easily, not forced. Think of each inhale as loading a spring, each exhale as lowering the hammer. You'll feel lightheaded at first. That's normal. Keep it safe. Do this standing or seated, not while driving or in the shower. If you're new to rapid breath work, cut to 15 breaths and build. This kind of dynamic breathing wakes your system up fast. It raises alertness, sharpens mood, and gives your mind permission to move. Transition: slow the engine down 30 seconds after the rapid breaths. Inhale deep and long. Then exhale fully and hold the exhale gently for a count that's comfortable. Let your heart and breath find calm, but stay bright. This lets the nervous system settle into an activated but centered state. If you prefer a calmer start, Use box breathing instead. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4, 4 cycles. Same point. Control the breath, control the tone of the day. Now the shock, the short, honest cold. This is the part that makes the morning stop being polite and start being real. Begin with the face and neck. Splash cold water on your face for 10 to 15 seconds. Move to a cold stream on your hands and forearms. When you're ready, step fully under the water and expose your chest and back. For beginners, aim for 15 to 30 seconds of full body cold. For performance level practice, the kind Tony Robbins and other high performers use, a full plunge of about 60 seconds at a properly cold temperature is common. Start where you can and increase slowly over days and weeks. When the cold hits, don't panic. Use the breath you practiced. Slow, deliberate exhales into the cold will stop hyperventilation and anchor you. Focus on one word: steady. The body's response is immediate. Blood rushes, neurotransmitters spike, and your attention snaps into the present. That physiological surge is not the enemy. It's a tool. It clears fog, tightens focus, and creates a tiny, daily training session in resilience. You learn to be uncomfortable, present, and calm all at once. 3 practical rules to keep you safe and consistent. 1. Build slowly. Start with short cold exposure and shorter breath sets. Add time when it feels sustainable. 2. Don't do extreme breath work while standing if you're prone to fainting. Sit down the first few times. 3. If you have cardiovascular conditions or concerns about seizures or fainting, check with a clinician before attempting sustained cold immersion or intense breath work. Do this sequence: energizing breath, controlled, settle cold exposure. 5 mornings in a row and notice the difference. Your brain will remember the rehearsed clarity, and your body will begin to expect it. That expectation changes how you show up when pressure comes. Back to Daniel. After a month of this practice, he said something small but important: I don't have to manufacture motivation. The morning hands it to me. That's the result you're chasing. Not bravado, not an Instagram perfect ritual. A simple physiological lever that makes you harder to distract and easier to lead. Before we close, here's a quick, usable checklist you can tape to your bathroom mirror. Stand tall, no phone. 30 energizing breaths, or box breathing if you're starting. 3 slow, deep breaths to settle. Cold exposure, 15 to 60 seconds. Progress gradually. Breathe slow and steady through the cold. 1-word anchor: steady. If this chapter landed for you, do one tiny thing that helps both of us. Try the routine tomorrow and come back here to type 1 word in the comments that describes how you feel: alive, steady, even surprised. Hit like if you want me to make a follow-up video that walks through recorded breath timing and measurable progression plans. Subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 3, where we break down the exact breathing flows and the neuroscience behind the cold shock. Simple moves, tiny habits, huge returns. Let's build that edge together. Chapter 3, Gratitude and Celebration, the 3 to Thrive morning practice. Close your eyes for a breath, then open them and notice the smallest, quiet thing that's already working for you. The way the light hits the corner of your room, the smell of yesterday's coffee that promised more than it delivered, the sound of a neighbor's laugh down the street. That tiny thing is your first win. Today, we learn how to pile 3 of those wins together until they become a force. This chapter is about the simple architecture behind deep, daily gratitude. Why naming 3 things each morning and celebrating them turns your brain from complaint mode into currency mode. It's called the 3 to Thrive. It's not woo, it's tactical, and it rewires where your attention lands before the day demands anything of you. Meet Maya. She worked nights, tended to people who were losing hope, and came home with a pocket full of quiet exhaustion. She told herself she was too busy for rituals. Then she tried something tiny. Each morning, for 3 minutes, she chose 3 specific things that were true and held them like a photograph. The first week, she felt lighter. By week 3, she noticed something stranger. Decisions felt cleaner. She didn't snap at the small stuff anymore. Her energy wasn't manufactured by caffeine. It was anchored by attention. That anchor? The simple habit of naming and celebrating 3 real, small things. Here's the problem most people live with. Your brain prioritizes threats by default. Gratitude is the simplest, scientifically backed lever we have to rebalance the scales toward positive information, and the 3 to Thrive is a precise, repeatable way to use it. Studies that tested gratitude practices show measurable improvements in mood, life satisfaction, and fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression. The practice you'll use for the next 7 days, 3 minutes, 3 items, 1 celebration, looks like this when you actually do it. Step 1. Find the 3. Stand or sit. Place one hand over your heart. Breathe in deep. Breathe out like you mean it. Think of one thing you're grateful for right now, not my family in the abstract, but the exact thing. The way my sister sent a voice note that made me laugh, or the warm patch of sunlight on my desk this morning, or the 3 sentences I finished on that draft. Hold it. Recreate it in detail. The smell, the sound, the awkward laugh, the tiny relief. Let the feeling grow in your chest for 30 seconds. Move to the second thing. Do it again. Then the third. Specificity is the difference between sentiment and signal. Research on the 3 good things practice shows that naming and describing concrete positives, not vague platitudes, is what builds lasting benefit. Step 2. Celebrate physically. This is where most gratitude exercises stop and habits stall. Celebration turns private feeling into public reinforcement. After each gratitude, celebrate for 3 to 5 seconds. Raise your arms like you just finished something hard. Say one short word of victory under your breath. Yes, done, thank you, or clap once, gently, to mark the win. You don't need fanfare. You need a signal your body can connect to reward. Tony Robbins calls this moving into celebration as part of his priming routine. He spends minutes reliving gratitude and then steps into the day with a state that feels like momentum. Step 3. Anchor with agency. Write one line for each gratitude that explains why it happened. Not to invent stories, but to give the brain a cause. I finished those 3 sentences because I stopped revising and wrote the damn section, or the voice note landed because I answered quickly and honestly yesterday. This links gratitude to action and trains your brain to see you as an agent who creates good, not just a passive receiver of luck. That perception of control is one of the most underestimated accelerants for confidence. Tiny rules that make this practice stick. I'll be specific. If it's small, say why it matters. Big things and tiny things both count. The variety is the point. Keep the time literal, 3 minutes. Short rituals are the ones you can actually repeat. Celebrate physically. Your body records the moment. Your habit grows on muscle memory. Write it down. A physical trace rewires memory more than a fleeting thought. Night version. Repeat 3 good things right before bed to strengthen recall and improve sleep quality. A real example. Read like a quick scene. You breathe. You remember the barista who learned your order and spelled your name right for once. You feel the micro joy in the chest. You raise your hand in a small celebratory arc and whisper, "Thank you." You write, "Barista remembered my order. I showed up 5 minutes earlier today." That tiny loop, notice, celebrate, explain, turns the day's first minutes into a compound interest account. Do this 7 mornings, and you will notice sharper choices in week 2. Pitfalls to avoid. Don't force gratitude into fantasy. Gratitude is not a denial of real struggle. It's an acknowledgement of what is present despite the struggle. Also avoid comparing grateful things to others' highlight reels. This practice loses its power when used as a checklist of shoulds rather than a genuine re-experiencing. If you want to make this practice feel less like a new chore and more like an upgrade, pair it with something you already do. Next to the kettle, on the bathroom mirror, or right after your breath work. The body loves ritual chains. One small cue triggers the whole sequence. Maya kept this simple. 3 minutes, 3 things, 1 micro celebration each. It didn't make her problems vanish, but it did change the soundtrack in her head. That shift rewired the way she responded to stress, and that's the point. You're not manufacturing happiness. You're training your attention to recognize the good that's already there, then reinforcing the behavior with celebration and a small record. If this chapter landed for you, try the 3 to Thrive for 7 days. 3 minutes each morning, 3 gratitudes, 3 tiny celebrations, 1 line explaining why each happened. Come back here and leave 1 short line in the comments. Today I'm grateful for, and I'll pin my favorite. If you want the next chapter to walk through a 7-day audio cue script you can use in the morning, Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss it. Small rituals make big lives. Let's build yours together. Chapter 4. Incantations and Language. Rewriting your inner story with power words. Words are not harmless. They are engines. The sentences you say to yourself before coffee, before a meeting, before a hard conversation, those sentences build the mood of the entire day. If your inner voice is an unpaid intern, whispering doubt and doubt again, nothing you do after breakfast will stick. But if you can learn to speak with purpose, to command your body with sound, you change cast and director for every scene that follows. This chapter is about incantations, not the vague, think positive fluff, but short, charged declarations you speak out loud with your body behind them. Incantations are language with muscle. They don't argue with your doubts. They overrule them by changing the chemistry of the moment. They are the difference between whispering a wish and standing in a doorway and announcing who you are. Meet Lena. She used to feel invisible at work. In presentations, she talked fast and then apologized afterwards, like she'd committed a social crime. Then she started one tiny practice. 3 sentences spoken out loud every morning, with her feet on the floor and her hands on her hips. Not silently, out loud. At first, her neighbors probably thought she was rehearsing lines for a play. After 2 weeks, Lena's voice stopped sliding off the end of her sentences. Her hands stopped shrinking by her side. The room leaned in. People noticed. She noticed. That change didn't come from a course or a pep talk. It came from saying something true and letting her body sign the receipt. What makes incantations different from ordinary affirmations? First, they're present tense and active. Not, I will be confident. That's a promise to yourself. It keeps confidence in someone else's future. Incantations say, I am calm. I move with purpose. The brain responds to present tense as if it's already happened. Second, they are spoken and embodied. Your vocal cords, chest, posture. When you use them, you engage muscles that feed back into emotion. Sound changes chemistry. Volume matters. Movement matters. Third, they are short, sensory, and believable. If you say, I am invincible, while your knees wobble, the brain files a mismatch. Incantations should edge your reality forward, not invent a stranger version of yourself. How to craft one that actually works. Use I and present tense. I am rather than I will. Choose strong verbs. Create, move, lead, finish, anchor. Add a sensory or bodily word when you can. Steady, grounded, clear. Keep it short. 2 to 7 words is often perfect. Avoid negatives. Don't say I won't panic. Say I am steady. Make it credible to you. A stretch, not a fantasy. Examples you can borrow and make yours. I am calm and clear. I move with purpose. My focus is unbreakable. I finish what I start. I speak with authority. I am steady, breath and body. Micro, anchor, breathe. For emergencies. A real, usable ritual you can do in the bathroom mirror before you touch your phone. Stand. Feet planted like the floor belongs to you. Hands on hips or arms raised. Choose what feels powerful. Take one long inhale, let it fill the belly, and exhale with a soft release. Then say your first incantation out loud 5 times. With each repetition, let the volume climb slightly. Move a little, lift your chin, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Feel the words in your ribs. Pause. Repeat with the second phrase, then the third. Here's the reason that sounds dramatic. Your nervous system registers speech, posture, and volume as commands. When you say, I am calm and clear, while breathing and standing tall, your body recalibrates to fit the sentence. That recalibration is not theatrical acting. It's nervous system training. Over time, your body learns to default to that tone when stress hits. A few practical hacks that keep it sticky. Keep a single index card in your wallet with one incantation. Read it before any high-pressure moment. Record yourself once, a 30-second clip of your 3 lines, and play it the night before a big day. Hearing your own voice primes you faster than reading. Use micro-incantations in emergencies. A 2-word anchor you can whisper silently when tension spikes. Refresh every 4 to 6 weeks. As you level up, your language should stretch with you. Don't make the mistake of thinking volume equals authenticity. Sometimes whispering is braver than shout. The point is congruence. Words, breath, and posture moving together. Also, don't expect a single incantation to solve deep issues overnight. Language is a tool for short-circuiting old loops so new behavior can form. It helps you act before fear speaks loud enough to drown you out. Back to Lena for a second. 3 weeks after she began, she didn't just feel different, she acted different. She volunteered for a presentation and, for the first time, didn't rehearse every word to numbness. She leaned into the moment and trusted her voice. Colleagues asked, "What changed?" She smiled and shrugged. The honest answer was smaller. 3 sentences, 5 repetitions, every morning. The rest of the world caught up. If you take one thing from this chapter, let it be this. Pick 3 short, present tense sentences you can say with your whole body. Practice them for 5 minutes a day for a week. Record what shifts. Tiny, repeated acts of language build a new gravity around you. If this chapter landed, do one sweet thing for both of us. Write your favorite incantation in the comments below. I'll read through every single one and pin my favorite. Like the video if you want a downloadable incantation card I designed for people who hate paper, and subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 5, where we train the visual muscle that makes your incantation stick even faster. Speak with power. Chapter 5, Visualization and Outcome Anchoring. Rehearse the day you want. Close your eyes for a second, not to escape, but to direct. Imagine the exact moment today when everything goes the way you want. See it, hear it, smell it. The movie of your day isn't made by chance. It's made by rehearsal. This chapter is the proof. How a short, deliberate visualization turns possibility into momentum, and how you can anchor that momentum so it shows up when the pressure does. This is the story of Omar. He's a designer who'd rehearsed failure 1,000 times. The stammering answer, the client's polite, "Well, think about it," the awkward silence. Then he started visualizing. Not vague cheerleading, actual mental movies. The room, the light on the laptop, the client's body language when he presents, the exact phrasing he uses when a hard question comes. He pictured the moment he didn't flinch, pictured the recovery if he stumbled, pictured the client saying yes. 3 weeks later, he closed the biggest contract of his career. Did visualization do the work for him? No. But it changed what his nervous system expected, and that change produced the small, confident actions that win deals. Here's the science in human terms. When you vividly rehearse an action, your brain lights up many of the same circuits it would during the real act. Your motor system, your emotional responses, even the tiny anticipatory stress signals, they practice the scene. So when the real moment arrives, you've already done some of the work. You're not starting from zero. How to build a visualization that actually sticks, and a simple anchor to make it fire under stress. Start with the end. Fix one clear outcome, a single sentence that describes success in concrete terms. Not, "I'll do well." Say, "I finished the proposal with crisp language," and the client nods and asks for next steps. Make it specific, measurable in your mind, and emotionally charged. Construct the movie. Close your eyes and play the scene in full sensory detail. Who's in the room? What's the temperature? What do you hear first? What does your body feel like when you speak? The trick is to add sensory detail that makes your nervous system believe it's real. See the client's expression, hear the exact sentence you say, feel the weight of the pen in your hand. Rehearse it until your body remembers the rhythm. Rehearse the stumble. This is the secret pros use. Imagine the exact moment something goes wrong, the question that throws you, the awkward cough, the tech glitch, and practice your recovery. See yourself pausing, breathing, saying the first line of your recovery, and then getting back on track. When you practice falling and rising, the fear of falling loses its power. Anchor it to a physical cue. Choose one small, repeatable action, pressing thumb and forefinger together, touching your sternum, or saying a 2-syllable word under your breath. During your visualization, at the peak moment of success, perform the cue. Repeat the cue every time you visualize. Over days, the cue begins to carry the state of confidence into the real world. When stress hits, use the cue to trigger the practice state. Add emotion and body. Don't stop at mental imagery. Add the emotion you want to feel, calm, sharp, proud, and pair it with posture and breath. Stand like you own your space. Breathe steady, and let the emotion spread through the ribs. The brain doesn't distinguish perfectly between imagined posture and actual posture. The body learns. Make if-then plans for sabotage. Think ahead. If X happens, then I will Y. Example, if I forget a line, I will breathe and say, let me rephrase. Simple, concrete. Your brain prefers a plan to panic. Turn the practice into a ritual. Do a brief visualization in the morning and a quick micro-visualization right before the moment that matters. If you have 5 minutes before a call, replay the first 30 seconds of the movie and touch your anchor. If you're nervous, rehearse the stumble and recovery once more, then breathe and go. Micro-visuals for daily wins. You don't always need a blockbuster. Visualize finishing one key task, making one difficult call, or delivering a single sentence with clarity. Those small wins compound. Imagine closing your laptop after finishing the hard part. That single image breeds momentum for the next thing. Practical example you can steal and use tonight. Write your exact outcome sentence. Close your eyes and build a 60 to 90 second mental movie with rich sensory detail of that outcome. Add one realistic obstacle and rehearse your recovery. Perform your physical anchor at the peak of success and repeat it 3 times. Open your eyes, breathe, and say your one sentence outcome out loud. Why this matters for retention, both for you and for your viewers. Visualization trains the muscle of expectation. The person who expects success prepares differently, speaks differently, and acts differently. Those tiny differences are what keep audiences, clients, and opportunities leaning forward instead of letting them drift away. Omar didn't become fearless overnight. He became rehearsed. That rehearsal created small, consistent behaviors that stacked into big outcomes. That's what outcome anchoring does. It makes your brain expect the result, and expectation quietly rearranges your actions to meet it. If this chapter landed, I want to make this practical for you right now. In the comments, write one sentence, the exact outcome you want tomorrow. I'll pin my favorite and read 5 aloud in the next video. If you want a downloadable, voice-guided visualization track that follows the script I just used, hit like and subscribe. I'll drop it in the description for everyone who wants a hands-on rehearsal. Record yourself, practice with your anchor, and come back to tell me what changed. Little rehearsals, repeated, that's how big days begin. Chapter 6, Physiology Mastery, Movement, Posture, and the Body-Mind Switch. Stand up for a second, right now. Plant your feet. Push your shoulders back. Notice how that tiny change does something immediate. Your jaw relaxes, your breath widens, the small knot behind your sternum loosens. Your body just translated a posture into a mood. That translation is the single most powerful shortcut you've got for leading a day that doesn't lead you. This chapter is about owning the body-first secret every top performer uses. Physiology is not decoration. It's the engine of decision. Move it the right way and your brain follows. Get it wrong, and your best intentions will feel like trying to steer a ship full of water. This isn't about sculpted muscles or Instagram poses. It's about practical movement, posture, and tiny rituals that turn your nervous system from a noisy passenger into a precise instrument. Meet Priya. She ran a small team and had a ritual of slumping into work. Hunched shoulders, quick shallow breaths, scrolling before she spoke. She was smart, but she showed up small. Her voice was thin in meetings, distractions bred like weeds, and mid-afternoon she'd crash into fog. Then she learned something simple and brutal. The body is an autobiography you can edit. She built 5 micro-habits into her morning, and 90 days later her calendar looked the same. But people listened differently. Her emails were sharper, and she finished the hardest work before the distractions arrived. The change wasn't magic. It was muscle memory. Here's the idea you need to keep. Posture informs emotion. Movement rewires attention. Breath controls the thermostat of your nervous system. Put them together and you control your state before any email, notification, or crisis can hijack it. A practical blueprint you can use immediately. No equipment, no special clothes. Open stance. Stand tall like the floor is important. Spread your weight evenly. Lift your chest an inch. And imagine your crown being gently pulled upward. That alignment gives your brain the signal: alert, available, capable. Even if you're tired, this posture reduces the noise that feeds anxiety. Breath that centers. Drop your hand on your belly. Take 2 or 3 full inhales, letting the ribs open and the belly expand. Then exhale with intention. Long, steady exhales tell the body that danger is distant and thinking can happen. Use this breath to re-anchor when the day tries to pull you sideways. Move before you think. Micro-movement beats stillness for focus. 2 options you can do anywhere. The grounding sweep. Roll your shoulders back in 3 full circles. Hinge at the hips and take a soft forward fold. Then rise slowly with a small arc that opens the chest. That single loop clears tension and resets circulation. The power step. Take 3 slow, deliberate steps in place. Heel, midfoot, toe, feeling contact and release. Walk with purpose even if you're not going anywhere. Movement organizes attention. Open the throat. Speak 1 short, present tense sentence out loud. Something true and small. I am steady. The voice changes the internal script and cadences your posture to match the claim. Saying it aloud activates the body more than thinking it. Tension release reset. Pinpoint where you hold stress. Neck, jaw, low back. Do a focused release. Shrug your shoulders hard and drop them. Unclench the jaw and let the tongue rest on the roof of the mouth for a breath. Lean forward and take a long exhale. Small releases reduce chronic background activation so clarity can show up. Anchor with movement. Choose a tiny physical cue you can use anywhere. Press thumb and forefinger, tap your sternum, or do a single shoulder roll. Pair that cue with the state you want during your rehearsal. Grounded posture plus full breath plus a clear sentence. Use the cue later in a meeting or before a difficult call to bring the practice state back into the room. Micro routines for the day that beat fatigue. Start your work block by standing, breathing, and doing 1 grounding sweep. When you feel tension rise, move, 2 power steps, and a long exhale. Before you speak in a meeting, touch your anchor and say the sentence under your breath. The smallest physical ritual breaks autopilot and lets choice in. A realistic way to build this into your life. Stack it onto something you already do. After you brush your teeth, stand and do your open stance plus 1 sentence. After you pour coffee, add the grounding sweep. Tiny placement makes repetition easy. A few real-world caveats from 10 years of watching creators and leaders burn out. Power posing alone without breath is a paper tiger. Imitation without belief feels robotic. And extreme movement without listening to your body invites injury. Always respect limits. If something hurts, modify. If you have a medical condition, check a clinician first. Back to Priya. She began by doing 1 grounding sweep and using her anchor before every meeting. At first it felt silly. By week 3 it felt essential. Her voice gained a new weight. Colleagues leaned in more, and she stopped apologizing for asking for what she needed. Her body taught her how to lead. If you want a simple challenge, try this tomorrow morning before your first email. Stand, open your stance, breathe twice so your ribs expand. Do a single grounding sweep, and speak your 1-sentence claim aloud. Then go into your first meeting and notice if anyone's reaction changes. Come back and write 1 word in the comments that describes how you felt. Calm, sharp, surprised. I'll read my favorites aloud in the next chapter. If this chapter helped you, hit like and subscribe. I'll share a downloadable physiology reset cheat sheet with exact cues and a short audio guide to use before big moments. Your body runs your day. Learn to conduct it. Chapter 7. Micro commitments. Build momentum with 1 tough action. Close your eyes for 1 beat. Not to check out, but to feel the weight of the thing you keep postponing. That knot in your chest? The email you won't send, the hard edit you avoid, the call that would change everything if you made it. Now imagine loosening that knot with a single decision. Pick 1 tough thing, do it first, and watch the day start to follow your lead. This chapter is about micro commitments, tiny promises you make to yourself that force you to act on the thing that actually moves the needle. Not a long to-do list, not heroic willpower. 1 clear, difficult action executed early and deliberately, so momentum springs from courage, not from chance. Picture Anna. She ran a small channel, and every morning she told herself she'd work on the video. Hour after hour she fiddled with thumbnails, drowned in small edits, and never finished. One Tuesday, she tried something different. She vowed to do the single hardest task first, write the opening 200 words. She set a 20-minute timer, closed everything else, and started. She finished those 200 words, then another 200, and by the end of the day the draft was done. That one small, brutal promise rewired her whole day. Suddenly finishing mattered more than perfecting. Why does 1 micro commitment work? Because behavior is easier to trigger than motivation. Psychologically, when you do a single tough thing first, 3 things happen. You reduce decision load, you prove to yourself that progress is possible, and you lower the psychological cost of continuing. Momentum is binary. Either you started or you didn't. Start and you tilt the odds. Here's how to make it practical. A tight, repeatable ritual you can use tomorrow. Choose the one. Ask, which single task, if completed, will make the rest of the day easier or irrelevant? The question isn't what will be busiest. It's what action makes the biggest obstacle vanish. Examples: send the pitch email, record the first 3 minutes of your video, write the intro paragraph, schedule the client call. Make it measurable and tiny. Break the tough action into the smallest meaningful slice. Edit the video is vague. Export the intro and listen for 5 minutes is measurable. Micro commitments are small on purpose. They make starting inevitable. A 10 to 20-minute window is perfect for the first wave. Remove friction. Prepare the battlefield before you begin. Open the right files, sign in to the platform, clear tabs, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. If starting takes more effort than the task, you'll stall. Reduce the start cost to a thumb press. Use an if-then plan. Implementation intentions work. If it's 8:30, then I will open the document and write the first sentence. The brain likes rules. Make them specific and time-bound. Anchor it to a cue. Stack the micro-commitment onto an existing ritual. After your breath work, after you brew coffee, before you check messages. Ritual chains remove friction and save willpower. Start the 2-minute ramp. If resistance wins at start, commit to 2 minutes. Say to yourself, I'll work for 2 minutes. Often 2 minutes becomes 20. The key is movement. Behavior fuels motivation, not the other way around. Celebrate small wins. Finish the slice and mark it. Stand, stretch, whisper, done. Write 1 sentence in a tiny log. Celebration is the reward that trains your brain to repeat the micro-commitment tomorrow. Build accountability into the plan. Tell someone, post the commitment in a community, or put it in the video description as your public deadline. Social friction beats internal negotiation every time. Troubleshooting the usual saboteurs. Perfectionism. If the inner critic says, not ready, shrink the task further. Perfection is delay masquerading as care. Overreach. Don't stack 5 tough items. 1 is the point. Missed days. If you fail to start, do a 5-minute recovery action that rebuilds trust. Write 1 sentence or open the file and type a title. Small reparations keep the habit alive. Micro-commitment examples for creators and makers. Creator, record the first 90 seconds of voiceover. Writer, write the opening paragraph. Manager, send the 1 feedback email you've been avoiding. Student, read and summarize the first page of the chapter. Each of these is small but decisive. A short script you can use right now: breathe, choose, affirm, start, stand. Breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 5. Say your 1-line commitment out loud. Today I will exact task for 20 minutes. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Close tabs. Start. When the timer rings, stand, breathe, and mark it done. The magic here isn't glamour. It's the daily accumulation of tiny, courageous acts. Each completed micro-commitment raises the baseline of who you are, a person who finishes what they begin. Momentum compounds into identity. If this chapter landed, let's make it real. In the comments right now, write the single micro-commitment you'll do tomorrow, 1 short sentence. I'll read every one and pin my favorite. Hit like if you want a downloadable 1 tough action template to tape to your desk, and subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 8, where we turn those micro wins into a high leverage plan for the whole week. Do the hard thing first. The day will thank you for it. Chapter 8, High Leverage Planning. Turn big vision into actionable morning tasks. You wake up with a horizon in your head, a big, blinding idea, and by the time you open your inbox, it's been watered down into a dozen tiny, useless tasks. That's not because you're weak. It's because the morning is a liability if you let it be. It disperses your vision into busy work. This chapter is how you stop losing your best hours to noise and start making the morning pay compound interest on the life you actually want. This is the story of Ethan. He had a channel and a plan that would have changed everything. A course, a signature series, the kind of content that builds a community. But his mornings were triage, comments, urgent messages, endless edits that never finished. He watched weeks disappear and felt the quiet panic of potential evaporating. Then he learned to translate big vision into a ruthless, tiny morning script. One most important task, 2 supporting moves, a protected deep block, and a 5-minute scoreboard. 3 weeks later, his productivity didn't spike. It became predictable. His ideas started landing. The audience noticed. That predictability is the point. Leverage transforms chaos into results. High-leverage planning is simple in idea and sharp in execution. Identify the few actions that produce the most value and design your morning around executing them before anything else. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less. Specifically, here's the blueprint you can steal and make your own. Step 1. Start with the vision sentence. Write one line that names the outcome you care about this month. Not vague. Grow channel to X is fine, but better is publish the 5-video series that teaches X and collects email signups. This single sentence is your North Star. Everything else is judged by whether it moves you toward it. Step 2. Choose your one thing for tomorrow, the MIT. Ask, what one action, if completed by noon, will make the rest of the day easier or irrelevant? Make it tiny but decisive. Outline episode 1, 300-word scaffold, rather than work on episode. Concrete, measurable, minimal. Step 3. Block like a surgeon. Put a 60 to 90-minute deep work block on your calendar, labeled exactly. MIT. Outline EP1. Put it at your peak energy window. Treat that block like a non-negotiable meeting with the future you. Turn off notifications, close tabs, use a physical timer if you must. Step 4. Energy match the tasks. Not all tasks are equal or suited to every part of your day. Match your hardest cognitive work to your highest energy slot. Many people have it in the morning. Put administrative low-brain tasks into low-energy windows. If you're a morning thinker, don't waste that on editing thumbnails. Step 5. Batch and template. High-leverage work loves templates. For creators, outline script, record, edit. Batch similar tasks into blocks. Record 2 intros. Finish all descriptions at once. Schedule thumbnails in one sitting. The friction you remove compounds into hours saved. Step 6. The micro-commitment and the 2-minute ramp. Before your block, make one tiny promise. I will write the first 3 headings in 10 minutes. Start with 2 minutes if resistance is loud. Movement begets momentum. The first words create the habit. Step 7. The morning scoreboard. After the deep block, spend 5 minutes logging. MIT done? Yes/no. Quick metric. Words written, minutes recorded, emails sent. This small scoreboard trains progress and creates an honest feedback loop. Win equals dopamine. Repeat. Step 8. Weekly guardrails. Once a week, invest 30 minutes in a high-leverage review. What produced the most value last week? What sucked time? Schedule your next week by themes: creation day, distribution day, admin day. Theme days reduce context switching so your best work gets longer runs. A practical page you can write tonight. On a sticky note, jot this month's outcome sentence. Tomorrow's MIT, one short line. Deep block time, 60 to 90 minutes. 2-minute ramp promise. One quick metric to log after the block. Real examples that show leverage. Creator, MIT equals film the first 7 minutes of episode 1. Metric equals minutes filmed. Freelancer, MIT equals send proposal to 3 target clients. Metric equals proposal sent. Manager, MIT equals draft the feedback email to the project lead. Metric equals email sent. Pitfalls people fall into and how to avoid them. Overplanning. If your plan has 10 big things, it's a fantasy. Limit to 1 to 3 daily wins. Busy work masquerading as progress. If a task doesn't increase reach, revenue, or move a project forward, it's low leverage. Delete it or delegate it. Open calendar holes. Protected blocks must be scheduled and labeled. Your calendar is your guardrail. A short, cinematic ritual to lock this in each evening. Close your laptop. Spend 5 minutes. Read your vision sentence. Write tomorrow's MIT. Book the deep block and set the 2-minute ramp promise. Put your phone in another room. Sleep knowing the morning is a plan, not a battlefield. Ethan stopped reacting and started landing because he learned to measure leverage instead of effort. He didn't do more. He did the right small things at the right time. That's the only special sauce worth chasing. If this chapter landed, let's make it practical right now. In the comments, write one sentence, your MIT for tomorrow. I'll read them. Pin the most ambitious and the most beautifully simple, and share a downloadable high-leverage morning planner in the next video for everyone who wants to print and use it. Hit like if you want a short walkthrough of my exact calendar setup, and subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 9, where we build a midday primer that keeps this momentum alive. Do the one thing that matters first. The rest of the day will fall into place. Chapter 9, Energy Maintenance. Midday primers to sustain your peak state. The noon hour is a liar. It says, you've earned a break, when really it hands you a slow-motion robbery. Focus steals away, energy leaks, and by mid-afternoon you're left negotiating with a version of yourself who only wants sugar and scrolling. If your morning was a victory, the middle of the day is the test that proves whether victory sticks. This chapter is about passing that test, not with willpower, but with short, surgical primers that restore your state and keep your momentum alive. Picture Kira. She showed up to work like a rocket, breath primed, visualization done, incantations said. By 2 p.m. she felt like a used match. Her creativity dulled, decisions dulled, and the easiest tasks suddenly felt heavy. She tried caffeine, then more caffeine. Nothing helped long. What changed was one small experiment. A 5-minute midday primer she did after lunch. After 3 weeks, she noticed something almost boring. Her afternoons were reliable. She didn't have to hope for focus. She could trigger it. That reliability changed everything. She shipped more, defended fewer derailed days, and actually finished her best work after lunch. Here's the secret. Your state is a habit, and habits can be nudged. A midday primer is a tiny, repeatable routine, 3 to 7 minutes, that resets your nervous system, your body, and your mind so you don't hand control back to chaos. Think of it as the pit stop that keeps the car running at top speed. Do this 5-minute primer with me, right now in your head. It's the one I recommend people use after lunch or right before the afternoon sprint. Stand up, plank your feet, lift your chest an inch. Posture first, because posture changes what your brain believes about you. Breathe. One full, deliberate belly breath in. Feel the ribs open, and a long exhale out. Repeat 2 more times with the intention of lengthening the out-breath until your shoulders drop and your jaw softens. If you know box breathing, use it for 4 cycles. The point isn't novelty, it's anchoring calm, focused readiness. Move. Do a 30-second micromobility loop. Roll your shoulders back, hinge at the hips, reach toward your toes, and then sweep up into an open chest finish. Or take 10 purposeful calf raises and land softly. Movement restores circulation, reverses the slump, and tells your body it's not nap time. It's work time, but in control. Hydrate and feed a steady note. Sip water first. If you need a snack, choose protein-rich fuel, a handful of nuts, Greek yogurt, or a boiled egg. Something that steadies energy rather than spikes then crashes it. Skip the heavy sugar binge. It's a short-term lift with a long-term debt. Sun and sightline. Step outside for 60 to 180 seconds if you can. Direct sunlight or bright light. Recalibrates circadian cues and sharpens attention. If you can't, at least look at a distant object out a window for 30 seconds. Shifting focus relaxes the eyes and resets mental strain. Anchor with a microvisual. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and imagine a single, bite-sized outcome for the afternoon. Finish the draft of Section 2, land the 3 edits, send that one crucial email. Visualize it for sensory detail. The click of the mouse, the satisfied exhale when it's done. Pair this with a 1-word incantation you can use under your breath. Steady, deliver, focus. Set a tiny behavioral guard. Pick one 25 to 30-minute sprint, Pomodoro, and commit to it. Turn off notifications, close unrelated tabs, and set a visible timer. Start with a 2-minute ramp if resistance is loud. Tell yourself, I'll do 2 minutes. Usually that 2 becomes the 25 you need. Finish with a micro celebration. When the sprint ends, stand, stretch, and mark it with a single gesture. A small fist pump, a whisper of done, or a literal check in a notebook. That tiny reward trains your brain to expect a payoff for focus. Now practical variations and why they matter. The 90-second reset. For busy people, posture plus 2 breaths plus 1 stretch. Quick but effective. The power nap, optional a true power nap, is 12 to 20 minutes. It can sharpen memory and alertness, but needs discipline. A 30 to 40-minute nap risks sleep inertia. If you nap, set a strict alarm and wake gently. Movement-only primer. When you can't sit, a brisk 5-minute walk, stair climbs, or a mini bodyweight sequence, 10 squats, 10 push-ups against a wall, resets circulation and cognition. Caffeine strategy. Use it like a tool, not a crutch. If you drink coffee, have it with or right after your primer, not before. That way it amplifies the reset rather than masking sleep debt. Avoid caffeine in the late afternoon if sleep quality matters. Common traps and how to avoid them. Doom scrolling as a break. Scrolling consumes decision energy and buries you in reactive tasks. Replace it with the primer instead. Heavy lunches and afternoon fog. If you feel slow after food, opt for lower glycemic choices and smaller portions. Overscheduling. If you jam many high-focus tasks into a crash window, you'll fall faster. Use one reliable sprint and protect it. Ignoring signals. If persistent mid-afternoon fatigue is a pattern despite primers, consider sleep hygiene, hydration, and a check-in with a health professional. A quick sample primer you can use tomorrow. Stand in open stance, 10 seconds. 3 full belly breaths with long exhales, 30 seconds. 30-second mobility sweep or brisk walk, 30 to 60 seconds. Sip water and a small protein snack, 30 seconds. Visualize the first outcome and touch your anchor, one-word incantation. Start a 25-minute focused sprint and close your apps. Kira used this exact loop. She refused to let afternoons be a roulette wheel. She kept the primer predictable and short. The afternoons that used to be fragile became her most productive stretch. Her work didn't get easier. She just showed up with the tools to handle it. If this chapter landed, here's a tiny, sweet experiment. Tomorrow at your usual slump time, do this 5-minute primer once. Come back and drop one word in the comments that describes what you felt afterward. Clear, alive, steady. I'll pin my favorite and read several aloud in the next video. If you want an audio version you can play after lunch, tap like and subscribe. I'll upload a guided midday primer track in the description so you can use it hands-free. Keep the day yours. A short reset is all it takes to make the afternoon follow the morning's promise. Chapter 10. Reflect, measure, prepare. Evening reset to supercharge tomorrow. Close your eyes for a second, not to drift, but to see the shape of your day as a thing you can finish well. Picture the morning you lost because you left messes for the next sunrise. Now imagine waking up with a clean stage, the props ready, the lines penciled, the first scene already rehearsed. That's what an evening reset buys you. Not more hours, but better hours. This chapter is about the quiet half hour that decides whether tomorrow will be hunted by chaos or guided by intention. It's the end-of-day practice that turns mistakes into data, stress into signals, and scattered tasks into a prioritized script. It's also where winners quietly win again and again. Meet Sophia. She ran content, handled client calls, and ate her deadlines for breakfast, but her evenings were noise. Notifications, half-finished drafts, the glow of her laptop like a campfire she couldn't leave. She woke up tired of being tired. She tried an experiment, a 10 to 20-minute evening reset every night for 30 days. No dramatics. The ritual was simple, consistent, and honest. By week 2, her mornings felt lighter. By week 4, she started finishing not just tasks, but trajectories. Clients noticed. Her creative work felt less brittle. She didn't gain time. She gained clarity. That clarity made the next morning look like an invitation instead of a trap. If you want that same edge, this is your routine. Short, repeatable, and surgical. Wind down the window, digital sunset. Close the laptop. Silence notifications. Give yourself 30 minutes, but start with 10 if that's all you have. Screens are attention thieves. A short digital sunset signals your brain that the operating system is changing from react to reflect. If you must keep a device, put it face down across the room. Reflect, a clean, honest log. Grab a notebook or a simple notes app and answer 3 lines. 3 wins. Write exactly what you completed today, no fluff. Finished intro draft. Sent pitch to Anna. Did 30-minute sprint. 1 lesson. What tricked you? What pattern showed up? I chased clarity by editing early drafts. Next time I'll separate drafting and editing. Mood meter, a single word and a number, e.g., tired, 3/5, energized, 4/5. This trains you to notice how work affects you. Why this matters. Wins create signal, lessons create leverage, and the mood meter gives you a record you can read later to see real patterns. After 30 days, you'll notice trends you can actually change. Measure what matters, simple metrics. Pick 3 metrics you'll track for 7 to 14 days. Keep them tiny and telling. Progress metric, minutes of focused work, words written, videos filmed. Energy metric, morning energy 1 to 5, evening energy 1 to 5. Outcome metric, MIT completed, yes/no. Record them fast. A line in the same notebook or a single daily row in a table. Measurement isn't a scoreboard for shame. It's a flashlight on the parts of life you can improve. Prepare the morning, the small things that make big mornings. Decide your one thing for tomorrow. Be specific. Outline episode 2, 3 sections. Write the exact first action. Open file and write heading 1. Lay out the physical prep, clothes, charger, water bottle, camera settings, or the file you'll open. Put the chosen file or tool on top of the stack so friction is minimized. Do a 5-item pre-flight. MIT written, 1 line. Tools open, files, tabs, chargers. Physical prep, clothes, breakfast ingredients, water bottle. Calendar block confirmed, 60 to 90 minutes. Phone out of the room for the first hour. Anchor with closure, the micro ritual that signals done. End with a short, repeatable gesture. Close the notebook, flip the lamp switch, whisper one sentence like, I did what mattered today. That tiny ritual gives your brain a physical cue that the day is complete. Sleep hygiene, make the bed for your brain. Lower light, cool the room slightly. Avoid heavy meals right before bed. If you use screens, enable night mode at least 30 minutes earlier and favor reading over scrolling. If sleep is a problem, limit caffeine before noon and keep consistent sleep, wake windows. Small rules build trust with your physiology. Weekly and monthly reviews, compounding clarity. Weekly, 30 minutes review your daily logs. Ask, which 3 actions created the most value? What drained time? What patterns repeat? Create one tactical change for next week, e.g., batch recording on Tuesdays, emails on Thursdays. Schedule it. Monthly, 60 minutes read through the weeklies. Set a 1-sentence theme for the month, audience growth through a 4-video miniseries, and pick 3 measurable targets. Quarterly, pick a larger theme and assess whether your daily rituals are serving it. Real examples to copy. The 2-minute closure, 2 minutes of writing 3 wins plus 1 lesson. Done. The 10-minute prep, 5 minutes to set the MIT and open files plus 5 minutes to lay out tonight's clothes/gear. The bedtime ritual, read 10 pages, breathe 4, 6-8 for 5 minutes. Whisper the closure line, lights out. Common mistakes and how to fix them. Mistake, making the reset a to-do. Fix, make it a non-negotiable end-of-day ritual. Put it on the calendar. Mistake, overtracking. Fix, pick only 3 metrics and rotate after 2 weeks. Mistake, pretending a night of chaos was creative. Fix, acknowledge it honestly in your lesson and design one tiny guardrail for tomorrow. A short guided script you can use tonight. Sit, breathe, write 3 wins. Write 1 lesson. Rate your mood. Choose your MIT. Write the exact first action. Lay out 1 physical prep item, water, clothes, charger. Close the notebook, whisper the closure sentence. Turn off the lights or the screen. Sleep. Sophia's last entry before she changed everything was 2 words, finished outline. That single line rewired how she woke the next morning. She stopped fighting for focus and started inheriting it. She didn't need inspiration, she needed structure. The evening reset gave her both. If this chapter landed, do 1 simple thing for me right now. In the comments type 1 small win from today, just 1 line. I'll read through them and highlight the one that feels like a lesson for all of us. If you want the exact evening reset checklist I use, copy the checklist below into your notes and try it for 7 nights. If this helped even a little, hit like and subscribe so the next chapter, where we stitch all 10 practices into a single morning to night flow, finds you. Finish tonight well. Tomorrow will follow. Evening reset checklist. Copy this now. Digital sunset, 10 to 30 minutes. 3 wins, right? 1 lesson, right? Mood meter, 1 to 5 plus 1 word. Track 3 tiny metrics daily. MIT for tomorrow, specific plus first action. Pre-flight, tools, clothes, water, calendar. Closure gesture plus 1 sentence sign-off. Lights down / sleep-friendly environment. Finish the day like you mean it. The morning will thank you. And that's it. You've just walked through the exact morning blueprint Tony Robbins uses to fuel his energy, his mindset, and his results. Now the real question is, what happens if you start living it? Imagine the difference. No more sluggish mornings, no more wasted hours, no more starting behind. Instead, you wake up already in control, already ahead, already unstoppable. But here's the truth. Knowing this means nothing if you don't try it. So tomorrow morning, pick just one of these rituals and test it. See how different your day feels. Because once you experience that shift, you won't want to go back. If this video gave you even one idea you're excited to try, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can discover it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We've got so much more coming, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Your morning is your power. Use it, own it, and I'll see you in the next video.